Hello and welcome to our reviews. Today we'll be reviewing the Marvel Legends Onslaught series, Green Goblin. So yes, here we have Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. This is not the variant that actually has the Norman Osborn head. Of course, I clearly would prefer the actual normal Green Goblin headed one. This is the first one I'm doing that actually has a Build-A-Figure piece, so that'll be something new. And it's also like the only other single-carded, well they're not carded, but you know, single-packed Spider-Man villain, unless you want to count Punisher. So, that's weird, you know, that they only did two single-packed ones. I guess they were kind of covering all bases with Spider-Man Classics and, the two box sets, which I don't have yet. But, yeah, let's just go ahead and zoom in for the articulation, detail, sculpt, paint, and all that kind of stuff on the mighty Green Goblin. Alright, let's start off with a quick comparison here. Here is the Marvel Select Green Goblin, the newer release one, not the, barely articulated one that comes with Peter Parker, compared with the Marvel Legends Green Goblin. As you can see, the Marvel Select one is much bigger and has a higher level of detail, but it's a different style. This Green Goblin is far more maniacal and maybe a more modern approach, and his scales are much more obvious and things like that, while the Marvel Legends Green Goblin is a much more classic look of Green Goblin. I think just overall I probably like the Marvel Legends one better, but the Marvel Select one has a very menacing look about it that's absent from the Marvel Legends one. Anyway, let's just take a look at the Marvel Legends one by himself. Alright, here we have Green Goblin. He's got his head up here, which we will zoom in on in a minute. His chest piece, as well as his trunks area, are this dark purple color. I don't really see any noticeable shading on there, but it still looks pretty good. It's got nice sculpted folds and stuff in the fabric. All over his arms and legs, he's got green scaling, which is very nicely done. His hands are the same color as his chest piece. You may notice that he's got a pumpkin bomb in this hand, and that is because it is actually glued into that hand, which is a bit of a weird way to do an accessory. It would have been difficult for him to hold it without it being glued in there, but they could have used a peg system or something. Don't just glue accessories onto your figures, it's just not a good idea. But that's how it comes, so I can't really do anything about it, other than just tear it off. Shoes, very pointy, curly shoes, same color as everything else. Look on the back, details you would expect. Now let's zoom in on the head, and we'll also take a look at his pumpkin bomb, since it is kind of attached to him. As you can see, he's got a very nice, smiling, maniacal face expression there. Yellow eyes, they do have pupils in them. Little black dots. He's got his big ears, and he has his hat flowing in the back there. So it's all very good looking head sculpt for Green Goblin, certainly what you would expect from a classic depiction of the Green Goblin. Alright, now let's take a look at his pumpkin bomb really quick. As you can see, the pumpkin bomb is properly detailed. It's kind of a metallic orange color, which is kind of cool looking. And then it has the little stem up there. I just wish it was actually removable from his hand. Anyway, let's zoom out and look at his articulation. Articulation-wise, Green Goblin's head will go up and down, turn all the way around. Ball joint shoulders, in and out, forward and back, bicep cut. Double jointed elbows, cut there at the forearm. Wrist hinge. He does have a finger joint, but it doesn't really work that well on this hand. It works fine on the other one. Abdominal joint, which moves pretty far back and pretty far forward and is ratcheted. Waist cut. Ball joint hips, in and out, forward and back. Upper thigh cut, double joint knees. Calf cut. Hinge and toe joint. And no real pivoting, which is a bit of a unusual thing. So yeah, that's about all for his articulation. It's pretty good. Certainly nothing substantial missing. Alright, now let's move on to his accessories. First of all, it comes with a satchel, which can be wrapped around him pretty easily. It's essentially the same kind of purple color that his outfit is. It should be sort of brown, but it's really not. Although it does look a bit brown on camera, it's closer to being purple, I think. You can see it there compared to his coloration. It is practically the same. And of course, Green Goblin would be a bit lonesome without his glider. This one is very curved downward, and it of course has the bat shape. It's got the bat head and then the bat wing bits. It's got two slots for his feet. It's got an engine there on the back, and it comes with this nice little stand to help it float up. Of course, this is easily deassembled if you have some sort of other flight stand you would prefer to use. And he stands on it pretty well. Doesn't really have any pegs, but his pointy shoes kind of slide in there, and it works out fairly well. So that's about it for his accessories. He does come with a Build-A-Figure piece. He comes with the right leg of Onslaught, so let's take a look at that just for completion's sake. Here you have your Onslaught leg. It is, of course, nicely painted. It's red, purple, has that sort of fancy anatomy to it. It has 2 joints here, like knee joints, and then it has an ankle joint down here, and they all move the way you would expect them to. I'm not going to go into too much detail, as I don't actually have Onslaught or anything like that. But, yeah, there's his leg, if you're interested in that. Alright, now let's move on to the packaging. Green Goblin's packaging is your standard Marvel Legends packaging. Onslaught series up there. Marvel logo, you got an issue of Spider-Man there in the background. Marvel Legends, Green Goblin down there at the bottom, as well as a picture of the figure and Onslaught. Flipping it over on the back, you get your stat thingy, your description, and the other figures in this wave, which are Blackheart, Lady Deathstrike, Pyro, Loki, Abomination, and Green Goblin. I have everything in this wave except for Blackheart and Lady Deathstrike. And, this wave is actually one of the cheaper waves. I don't think anything in this wave is over standard retail price of like $15 to $20. So they're all very affordable, and most of them are worth having as well. As always, good for in or out of package display. So yeah, Green Goblin. Alright, that wraps it up for Green Goblin, so until next time, goodbye! Hello, you've just watched one of my videos. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed my videos. If you didn't, run away and never return. Also, feel free to check out my other channels, Venom Raptor for all my variety gaming content, and VR Reviews for reviews of various action figures and collectibles. Thank you, and goodbye.